Hello everyone, Dr. Ray Benedetto today on another brief video. What I wanted to do today on this quick video is address a question that I get all the time, right? So in our office we do a lot of functional medicine, functional neurology, things like that. We do a lot of advanced testing on patients, we do thorough testing on patients. Patients that come in and have been other places and tried other things and have chronic conditions and they haven't gotten anywhere. And we go ahead and we dig around and we find what the problem is and we start getting to work on fixing it. And the question I get all the time is, why doesn't my doctor do this? Right? So patients have been to their primary doctor, they've been to specialists like cardiologists, endocrinologists, you name it. And I get the question all the time, why doesn't my doctor know this? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they test me for this? Okay? And the answer I usually have is, I don't know, you have to ask them. But I'm going to go over a little article with you today that explains some of why most doctors don't know the things that we do in our office. There's a couple of huge reasons. And this is going to give you, hopefully, a moment to pause and think about this and ask your own doctor about this stuff. Number one, so why doesn't my doctor know how to fix this? Or why am I under their care and I'm not getting better? Number one is, most doctors do not keep up with the current literature. The majority of physicians, you talk about specialists, family practitioners, you name it, do not read the current medical journals. They just don't. When you ask them, they will claim that they do, but the data has shown that they don't. They just don't keep up. So what is that then? So what do they then rely on for their information? They rely on what they learned in school, right? So if you're not keeping up with the current medical data, stuff that's coming out now, and applying it in your practice, you're relying on what you learned in school, in medical school. And that medical school may have been 20, 30 years ago, right? So it's been shown that the longer you're in practice, the more behind you get, because you're relying on what you learned 20, 30 years ago. Again, these are good questions to ask your doctor. You know, do you keep up with current literature? You keep up with the current literature. Go on a Google search, you'll find this stuff. And number two is, so they rely on what they learned in school, and number two is they rely on what the consensus is of their medical society, the American Cardiology Society, things like that. So again, these have proven to be horrible ways to run an evidence-based modern 2017 practice, right? So, you know, historically, relying on those has shown poor care. A couple of examples. Study published in 2009, right? American Medical Association. Statements published by the American College of Cardiology and the American Heart Association, right? Many of you watching this video are under care of a cardiologist. Showed that 11% of recommendations and practice guidelines and consensus statements were based on quality evidence. So 11% of the time, the recommendation or the treatment that you get from your cardiologist is actually based on quality, sound evidence, proven. And over half the time, the recommendations were based on poor quality of evidence. It's pretty scary stuff, right? These are the reasons why. Secondly, another example, right? One that I see all the time, because I see patients with thyroid problems and Hashimoto's and all kinds of stuff. Recommendations, so we're talking American Thyroid Association, okay? Recommendations not supported by medical literature or fail to adjust or abandon recommendations when new knowledge contradicts those recommendations. Big example. Case in point. Recommendation by these societies that a normal TSH adequately rules out thyroid dysfunction, despite massive amounts of literature that demonstrates not to be the case. How many of you out there have a thyroid problem, or have been told you do, or have all the symptoms? You have one test run, which is TSH, it's normal, and you're told you don't have a thyroid problem. I see it 5 times a day, every day in my office. And it's because of these reasons. not reading current literature, relying on what they learned in school or what the Thyroid Association or whatever medical association tells them. And when new data comes out, they don't abandon the medicine that they learned 20 years ago. They don't adapt. It's huge, you know. So, or another one with the TSH, that only T4 replacement helps with thyroid conditions, Synthroid, levothyroxine, all that kind of stuff. So it's just, you know, doctors are simply following outdated treatment guidelines and not keeping up with what's new. That's why your doctor doesn't know this. That's why you're not getting better. That's why patients end up in our office. We do keep up with this stuff. You have to if you're going to help patients. So hopefully that answers this question. I get it all the time. So again, I can't speak for other doctors, but this is what the data is showing us, and this is what articles are showing us from these doctors, and saying, yeah, we're not keeping up with this stuff. That's the reason why we're not. The things that we do don't help a lot of times. The treatments that we render. Okay. So hopefully this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, reach out to us, email, phone call. If you're seeing this on social media, feel free to give us a like or comment below if you have any questions. If it's an email, pass it along to someone you think it may benefit. I get this question a lot though, so I wanted to address it today. Hope it was helpful for you. Have a good day.